The relentless Seattle downpour lashed against the towering windows of Sterling and Associates, a fortress of power where Madison Harper, a formidable 28-year-old attorney, meticulously packed her designer brief. Every aspect of her life, from her Ivy League law degree to her corner office and exclusive social circle, was perfectly curated to meet her affluent family's expectations. Her blonde hair, impeccable even after a grueling 12-hour day, was pulled into a sleek chignon, her couture suit uncreased. Another late one, Madison, Brandon Sterling, a colleague whose inherited wealth and impeccable connections made him her parents' ideal match, remarked, idly adjusting his expensive watch. "The Wellington Club Gala is tomorrow. My mother specifically requested you join our table." Madison offered a polite, practiced smile. Brandon embodied the perfect aristocratic pedigree her family desired. Yet his patronizing tone always left her feeling cold. "I'll be there," she replied, her voice carefully neutral, as she stepped into the elevator. Outside, the storm had escalated into a tempest. Madison's heels clicked a hurried rhythm on the slick, wet pavement as she dashed toward her luxury car, 3 blocks away. Her opulent coat was instantly drenched, her dead phone rendering her usual ride-sharing app useless. That's when a pickup truck, an unexpected sight in her exclusive neighborhood, slowed beside her. The window glided down, revealing a face that gave her pause, a man, a black man, with eyes that held a warmth and genuine concern that disarmed her. Every caution her mother had ever instilled about appropriate company screamed in her mind. "Ma'am, you're getting soaked. Do you need a ride?" he offered kindly. What was she to do? Her first instinct was to politely decline. Her father's stern voice echoed in her memory. "Madison, darling, one must be selective about associations. Our reputation is paramount." But the rain was unforgiving, and this stranger's offer felt truly sincere. I don't want to impose," she stammered, water streaming from her expensive coat. "No imposition at all," he smiled, a radiant warmth in his gaze. "I'm Marcus Miller. I run Miller's Community Center downtown. Just wrapped up a late meeting with the city council about our youth programs." Despite her ingrained reservations, his calm confidence was strangely reassuring. She slid into the passenger seat, immediately noticing the truck's pristine cleanliness and organization. Soft jazz played on the radio, and a small framed photo of an elderly woman was tucked into the sun visor. "I'm Madison," she said softly. "I work at Sterling and Associates, the prestigious law firm." "That's truly impressive." Marcus navigated the flooded streets with effortless skill. "Where can I drop you off?" Madison provided her exclusive Bellevue address, then fell silent, studying his profile. A strong jawline, gentle hands resting on the steering wheel, an aura of peace emanating from him. This was certainly not what her social circle would expect from someone they'd so easily dismiss. "Is that your grandmother?" she inquired, nodding toward the photo. Marcus's face lit up, a genuine joy. "That's my Grandma Rose. She raised me after my parents passed, taught me that kindness costs nothing but means everything." A stirring, a warmth she couldn't quite identify, bloomed in Madison's chest. Could this truly be happening? Over the next week, the memory of Marcus's kindness lingered, a persistent whisper in her mind. At the Wellington Club Charity Gala, amidst Seattle's glittering elite, she found herself profoundly distracted. "Madison, dear, you seem miles away tonight," her mother, Eleanor Harper, observed, her diamonds sparkling as she surveyed the room with an expert's social calculation. "Brandon has been asking about you. The Sterlings are such a distinguished family." Madison nodded absently, watching Brandon hold court, his laughter forced, his charm a mere performance. She couldn't help but wonder what Marcus was doing that very moment, likely at his community center, genuinely making a difference. "Mother," Madison suddenly asked, "tell me about your volunteer work." Eleanor looked genuinely surprised. "Volunteer work? Well, we donate generously to numerous causes, of course." "No," Madison clarified, "I mean actual, hands-on work. Getting truly involved with the community." "Madison," Eleanor replied, a hint of steel in her voice, "we contribute through proper channels. That's how people of our standing participate in philanthropy. It's simply how things are done." 3 days later, Madison found her car instinctively turning toward Miller's Community Center. Through the large windows, she saw children's joyful faces playing basketball, elderly people engaged in a computer class, and families sharing warm meals. The building pulsed with an authentic, vibrant energy. She almost drove away, but then Marcus emerged, carrying a stack of boxes. Without a second thought, she parked and approached him. "Madison," his surprise was clear, but his smile was instantly warm. "What brings you to this part of town?" I was just curious about your work here." she admitted, feeling suddenly self-conscious in her expensive suit. Marcus set down the boxes. Would you like a tour? The community center enveloped Madison's senses. Children's laughter echoed from the gymnasium where Marcus was coaching a diverse basketball team. In another room, teenagers focused on homework with dedicated volunteer tutors. The elderly computer class was learning to video chat with their distant loved ones. We serve about 300 families, Marcus explained as they walked. Many are single parents juggling multiple jobs. Others are seniors on fixed incomes, and some are recent immigrants learning English. Madison watched a little girl with pigtails run up to Marcus, holding out a drawing. He knelt to her level, praising her artwork with genuine enthusiasm, and the child beamed, skipping away. How do you fund all of this? Madison asked, astounded. Grants, donations, fundraisers. We make every dollar stretch. My business background helps. I used to work in corporate finance before I inherited this place from my mentor, Mr. Davies. Madison was stunned. You left corporate finance for this? Marcus's eyes grew serious. I walked away from a six-figure salary because money without purpose is truly empty. These kids, these families, they taught me what real wealth means. As they returned to the lobby, Madison noticed a wall adorned with photos of community success stories. Kids graduating, adults earning their GEDs, small businesses launched with the center's support. Marcus, this is absolutely incredible. You're changing lives. We all are, he gently corrected. Community isn't built by one person, it takes everyone. For the first time in years, Madison felt a profound, genuine inspiration. This wasn't superficial charity gala chatter or trust fund philanthropy. This was real impact. This was real connection. This was everything. That evening, Madison sat in her pristine Bellevue apartment, gazing at the city lights. Her parents had called twice about the Sterling family dinner. Brandon had even sent flowers with a note hinting at a shared future. But all she could think about was Marcus, his easy laughter with the children, his passion when discussing community programs, the inherent dignity he saw in everyone he met. Her phone buzzed with a text from her college roommate, Chloe. Still dating Brandon? Mom says the Sterlings are perfect for you. Madison set the phone aside, ignoring it. She wandered to her bathroom mirror, studying her reflection. When had she become so utterly empty, so consumed by appearances and expectations that she'd forgotten what truly mattered? Marcus's earlier question echoed in her mind. What drives you, Madison? What makes you come alive? She hadn't been able to answer. Her life was a relentless series of should-dos. Graduate from the right school, work at the right firm, marry the right man, join the right clubs. But where was the joy? Where was she? That night she dreamed of the community center, not as an observer, but as an active participant. She was teaching a legal clinic, empowering immigrants, working alongside Marcus to build something truly meaningful. She woke with an unfamiliar lightness in her chest, immediately followed by her mother's disapproving voice. Madison, one must be careful about romantic notions. Our position in society demands certain standards. The internal war had officially begun. Madison found herself back at the community center the following Saturday, this time armed with a box of legal books and an offer to volunteer. Are you sure about this? Marcus asked, a pleased smile playing on his lips. It's not exactly the country club scene, you know. That's precisely why I want to be here, Madison replied, surprising herself with her honesty. She spent the morning helping Marcus organize files for a citizenship workshop. Working side by side, she discovered his dry wit, his insightful questions about her legal expertise, and his genuine curiosity about her world. So, what's it like growing up with all that privilege? He asked during a coffee break, his tone gentle, never accusatory. Madison considered the question carefully. Comfortable, safe, but also incredibly confined. Everything feels predetermined. Who you marry, what you do, even how you think. I'd never questioned it until what? Until I met someone who chose purpose over profit, she admitted quietly. Marcus studied her face. And what do you choose, Madison? Before she could answer, a group of teenagers burst in, excitedly sharing news of a college acceptance letter. Madison watched Marcus celebrate with them, his joy infectious. One of the teens, a young Latina girl named Lily, turned to Madison. Are you Mr. Marcus's girlfriend? She asked innocently. Madison blushed furiously. Oh no, we're just friends, Marcus smoothly interjected. But his eyes met Madison's with an intensity that made her heart skip a beat. After the teenagers left, an awkward silence settled between them. Madison, Marcus finally said, I hope you know that your help here means so much. Not just your legal expertise, but seeing someone from your world care about ours. It's not your world versus mine, Madison said softly, her voice barely a whisper. It's just the world. Our world. The moment stretched, charged with unspoken possibility, yet fraught with complications. They both understood. The following week, Madison was abruptly yanked back to her reality. Her mother had somehow discovered her volunteer work through their mutual friend Deborah Sanders, whose daughter had spotted Madison at the community center. Madison Rose Harper, what exactly do you think you're doing? Eleanor's voice, a weapon capable of chilling champagne at 20 paces, filled Madison's office. Eleanor stood there, an unannounced force of maternal disapproval. I'm volunteering, Mother, helping people with legal issues in that part of town. With those people, Eleanor's voice dripped with disdain. And Deborah Sanders says there's a man involved. A black man. Madison felt her defenses ignite. His name is Marcus Miller, and he runs a community center that helps hundreds of families. I don't care if he's the president of Harvard, Eleanor interrupted, her voice rising. This stops now. Brandon Sterling has been asking questions. The family name? The family name will absolutely survive my volunteering at a community center, Madison said firmly, though a tremor ran through her voice. Eleanor's expression softened slightly, a calculated shift in tactics. Darling, I know you want to help people. We can increase our charitable giving, join the hospital board, sponsor a scholarship. But this association, it's entirely inappropriate. You have responsibilities to your position. After her mother finally left, Madison sat alone in her office, staring at a framed photo from last year's charity gala. She and Brandon posed perfectly, smiling emptily. She looked like a stranger to herself. Her phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. Hope you're having a good day. The kids asked if you're coming back Saturday. So did I. Madison stared at the message, her heart torn between the life she was expected to lead and the life she was beginning to discover. Saturday arrived, rainy once more, as if Seattle itself was testing Madison's resolve. She almost stayed home, her mother's words echoing. People will talk, Madison. Is it worth damaging everything we've built? But an undeniable stronger pull drew her toward the community center. She found Marcus in his office, diligently working on grant applications. Didn't think you'd come, he said, though his visible relief belied his words. I almost didn't, Madison admitted, sinking into the chair across from his desk. My family, they found out about my volunteering here. They're not pleased. Marcus leaned back, his expression turning serious. And what about you, Madison? Are you pleased? For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm doing something that truly matters, she said quietly, her voice full of a newfound conviction. But they think I'm making a mistake. What kind of mistake? Madison met his gaze, her heart pounding. They think I'm getting too involved with someone. Inappropriate. The word hung heavily in the air between them. A clear challenge. Marcus remained silent for a long moment. And are you? He finally asked, his voice low, intense. Getting too involved with someone inappropriate. Madison's heart hammered against her ribs. Marcus, because I need you to know something, Madison. These past weeks, getting to know you, seeing you here with the kids, watching you care about people you don't have to care about, you've been absolutely amazing. But I also need to know where I stand. Madison stood, pacing to the window. Outside, families were arriving for Saturday programs, children splashing through puddles, parents chatting and laughing. I've spent my entire life doing what was expected, she said finally, her voice raw. Dating the right men, attending the right events, saying the right things, and I've been utterly miserable. Then I met you, and suddenly, I remembered what happiness feels like, what purpose feels like. She turned to face him, her eyes blazing with determination. So yes, Marcus, I am getting involved with someone my family considers inappropriate, and for the first time in my life, I truly don't care what they think. Marcus rose, crossing to where she stood by the window. Madison, I care about you more than I probably should, but I won't be the reason you lose your family, and I won't let fear keep me from living authentically, Madison replied, her voice stronger than she ever imagined it could be. The ultimate crisis arrived Tuesday evening. Madison was reviewing legal documents for the community center when her father, Richard Harper, appeared at her apartment door. Behind him stood Brandon Sterling, clutching a bouquet of white roses. Madison, we need to talk, her father declared, his voice carrying the formidable authority that had built his business empire. Brandon stepped forward, his practiced smile firmly in place. Madison, I've truly missed you at recent social functions. My mother was asking. Brandon, I didn't invite you here, Madison interjected firmly. Her father gestured toward the living room. Brandon has asked for permission to propose. We've given our blessing. The Sterling family connections will be excellent for business. Madison felt the walls closing in, suffocating her. Dad, I appreciate Brandon's interest, but You're not thinking clearly, her father interrupted, his patience snapping. This community center nonsense ends now. Brandon, please. Brandon, undeterred, knelt on one knee, producing a massive diamond ring. Madison, we've known each other since childhood. Our families approve. We'd make a perfect team. Madison stared at the ring, a dazzling symbol of a life she no longer wanted. Probably worth more than the community center's entire annual budget. It should have been a fairy tale moment, but all she felt was trapped. Brandon, please stand up, she said quietly, her voice trembling but resolute. I can't marry you. Madison, her father's voice boomed, shocked. I can't marry someone I don't love for the sake of social expectations, she continued, her voice gaining strength with every word. I will not live my life as a business arrangement. Brandon's face flushed crimson. This is about that man, isn't it? Deborah Sanders was right. You've been slumming it with some community organizer. His name is Marcus Miller, Madison stated fiercely, her eyes flashing. And he has more integrity in his little finger than what? Than a man who can provide for you properly. Her father's face was stern, cold. Madison, if you continue this foolishness, there will be consequences. Your position at the firm, your trust fund access. Are you threatening to disown me for volunteering at a community center? Madison challenged, her voice incredulous. I'm protecting this family from scandal, her father replied coldly, his gaze unwavering. Choose wisely, Madison. Them or us. After they left, Madison sat in her empty apartment, Brandon's rejected ring gleaming on the coffee table like an accusation. Her hands shaking, she called Marcus. They want me to choose, she whispered when he answered. Between my family and everything I've discovered about myself. Madison, whatever you decide, I'll support you, Marcus's calming voice replied. But I won't let you sacrifice your relationships for me. What if they're not worth preserving, she asked, the question surprising even herself. The next morning, Madison called in sick to work and drove straight to the community center. She found Marcus teaching the children's basketball clinic, his laughter mingling with theirs as he demonstrated free throw techniques. Mr. Marcus, little Lily ran to Madison as soon as she saw her. Are you okay? You look sad. Madison knelt to Lily's level. I'm working through some difficult decisions, sweetheart. My abuela says when decisions are hard, you should listen to your heart, Lily said solemnly, her small face serious. Hearts don't lie like heads do sometimes. Out of the mouths of babes, Madison mused. When the clinic ended, Marcus approached her carefully. How are you holding up? I've been thinking all night, Madison confessed, about what kind of life I want to live, what kind of person I want to be. They walked to his office, where Madison noticed he'd been working on funding proposals for a legal aid clinic. You've been planning this, she asked, a wave of emotion washing over her. I hoped you might want to be involved, he admitted softly. But Madison, after yesterday my family showed me exactly who they are, Madison interrupted, her voice firm. They're more concerned with appearances than authenticity, more worried about status than substance. She took a deep, steadying breath. Marcus, these past weeks have been the most real I've ever felt. Not because of romance or rebellion, but because I found purpose. I found myself. Marcus studied her face, his gaze intense. What are you saying, Madison? I'm saying I choose this, she declared, her voice ringing with conviction. I choose meaningful work over meaningless wealth. I choose genuine connection over social performance. She paused, meeting his eyes, her heart laid bare. I choose you if you'll have me. Marcus crossed to her, taking her hands gently in his. Madison, are you sure? Really sure? Because once you step outside their world, there might not be a way back. I don't want a way back, she said firmly, her eyes shining with newfound resolve. I want a way forward, with you. Marcus cupped her face in his hands, his eyes searching hers, brimming with emotion. Madison Harper, I love you beyond reason, beyond circumstance, beyond what anyone else thinks we should be. Good, Madison smiled, tears pricking her eyes. Because I love you beyond logic, beyond social expectations, beyond my wildest dreams of what happiness could ever feel like. Their first kiss was gentle, tentative, then deepened as weeks of suppressed feelings finally found their powerful expression. When they finally broke apart, Madison felt like she was truly breathing, freely and deeply, for the very first time in her life. Madison's resignation from Sterling and Associates ignited the exact scandal her parents had so desperately feared. The Seattle Times business section ran a small piece about the Harper heiress leaving a prestigious law firm for nonprofit work. But Madison found she simply didn't care about the whispers at the country club or the dropped invitations to society events. What truly mattered was the press conference she and Marcus were holding to announce the community center's new legal aid clinic. Are you nervous? Marcus asked as they reviewed her prepared remarks. Terrified, Madison admitted, a nervous laugh escaping her. But not about the press, about my parents seeing this and knowing there's truly no going back. As if summoned by her words, Eleanor and Richard Harper appeared in the community center lobby, looking as conspicuously out of place as peacocks in a hardware store. Madison, we need to speak privately, her mother said, her voice tight with barely controlled emotion. Anything you need to say to me can be said in front of Marcus, Madison replied, taking his hand, her grip firm. Her father's eyes flicked to their joined hands, his jaw tightening almost imperceptibly. This foolishness has gone far enough. Your trust fund is suspended. Your position at Sterling has been terminated. I resigned from Sterling, Madison calmly corrected, and I never asked for trust fund access. You have no income, no prospects, no future, her mother added desperately, her voice cracking. What will you do? Marcus stepped forward slightly, his presence a quiet strength. Mrs. Harper, your daughter is one of the most brilliant legal minds I've ever met. She's going to run our legal aid clinic, helping families navigate immigration law, housing disputes, and civil rights issues. She'll make more difference in 1 year than most lawyers make in their entire careers. And you think that's sufficient for someone of her breeding? Richard asked coldly, his disdain palpable. I think it's sufficient for someone with her heart, Marcus replied calmly, his gaze unwavering. Madison watched her parents' faces, seeing the vast, unbridgeable gulf between their worlds more clearly than ever before. Mom, Dad, I love you, but I can't live your version of my life anymore. Then you're choosing him over family. Eleanor cried, tears threatening to spill. I'm choosing authenticity over performance, purpose over privilege, love over fear. Madison's voice was gentle but absolutely unwavering. The door is always open if you want to be part of the life I'm actually living. Her parents left without another word, but Madison noticed her mother glance back once, a flicker of something, perhaps curiosity in her eyes. The press conference was a resounding success. Local news outlets covered the legal aid clinic's launch, interviewing families who would now benefit from free legal services. Madison, discussing immigration law and community justice, felt confident and passionately alive, more so than she ever had discussing corporate mergers. 6 months later, Madison stood in the community center's main hall, beautifully decorated with streamers and balloons for its annual celebration. The legal aid clinic had helped over 200 families. Her trust fund remained frozen, and she had never, ever been happier. The lawyer lady, Lily, ran to her, now a little taller and missing another tooth. Look, I made you a picture. The drawing depicted Madison and Marcus holding hands outside the community center, surrounded by smiling families. It's us, Lily explained proudly. It's perfect, Madison said, hugging the little girl tightly. Marcus appeared beside them, looking dashing in his best suit for the celebration. Ready for my speech? He asked, a twinkle in his eye. Are you ready for mine? Madison grinned back. As the evening progressed, community members shared heartfelt success stories. Kids graduating, adults finding jobs, families staying together thanks to legal help. Madison's heart swelled with an overwhelming sense of pride and purpose. During Marcus's speech, where he thanked volunteers and supporters, Madison spotted 2 familiar figures in the back of the room, her parents. They stood awkwardly near the door, Eleanor clutching her purse like armor. After the formal program, Madison approached them carefully. You came, she said simply, a hopeful tremor in her voice. Chloe Sanders' mother mentioned the legal clinic, helped her housekeeper with a citizenship issue, Eleanor said stiffly, avoiding eye contact. We were curious. Richard cleared his throat. The work appears substantial. It wasn't an apology, but it wasn't condemnation either. Madison felt a fragile flicker of hope. Would you like to meet Marcus properly? She offered. Her parents exchanged glances. Finally, Eleanor gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. The introduction was formal, polite, and cautious. But Madison watched her father's expression subtly shift as Marcus explained the center's financial sustainability model. And her mother's surprise when an elderly black woman approached to thank Marcus for helping her grandson get into college was undeniable. We should go, Richard said finally. But at the door he turned back, a softened look in his eyes. Madison, you look well. I am well, Dad, she replied, her voice brimming with genuine happiness. Really well. After her parents left, Madison found Marcus on the center's front steps, looking up at the stars, barely visible through Seattle's city glow. How do you think that went? She asked, settling beside him. Like the beginning of something, Marcus said thoughtfully. Not forgiveness yet, maybe, but I used to think love meant sacrificing parts of yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Now I know love means becoming more yourself, not less. And what do you want to become, Madison? Marcus asked, kissing the top of her head. Madison thought about the question, the same one he'd asked months ago that she couldn't answer. Your wife someday, if you'll have me, she said quietly, her heart full. The best lawyer I can be for people who truly need it. A bridge between worlds that don't understand each other yet. Someone who chooses love over fear, every single day. Marcus turned to face her fully, his eyes bright with overwhelming emotion. Madison Harper, I love you beyond reason, beyond circumstance, beyond what anyone else thinks we should be. Good, Madison smiled, a joyful tear tracing a path down her cheek. Because I love you beyond logic, beyond social expectations, beyond my wildest dreams of what happiness could ever feel like. As they kissed under the Seattle sky, Madison felt the profound truth of her transformation. She had started this journey as a woman trapped by other people's expectations. She was becoming someone who created her own definition of a life worth living, and it was absolutely beautiful. Their love hadn't just conquered prejudice, it had conquered fear itself. And that, Madison thought as Marcus held her close, was the most powerful revolution of all.